Hello, stationery squad and inky enthusiast. So glad you're here today with me. I am Kristen Creates if you're new around these parts, and this is my rabbit hole where we talk all things fountain pens and inks. And so I'm so glad you're here, whether you're new or returning. I don't say this every video, but it's been a minute. If you like this video, would you please, pretty please, hit that subscribe button? I'm just trying to get the word out about my channels. I'll appreciate it. It's been a rough week around here. Another school shooting. As an educator, I couldn't comprehend it when it happened 25 years ago, and I can't comprehend it now. And I just don't know if this country will ever get it together. And that's probably the most depressing thing. So when I am depressed about things that are far outside of my control, I go to playing with pens and inks. And thank goodness I have this outlet. Otherwise, it could be bad. So today we are going to dive all the way into just do some fall color palettes. And I took inspiration I have purchased a while ago. You probably, if you're on Instagram and you're creative, you've probably been hit with ads with the color cube thing. I don't have the color cube, but there is a digital version of it, which I did buy volume 1. It's really great for just when you're not quite sure what to do and you want to play with things and get inspiration from color. So that's what I did this time around. I just picked 3 color palettes with images. The color palettes from the color cube come with hex codes, and inkswatch.com will let you put those hex codes in and will give you 4 or 5 different ink choices that match that hex code. I often don't have what they have, but it's okay because I can see kind of what that color represents in ink and match it up to colors that I have. So that's what we're doing today. I've got 3 color palettes I want to swatch. They all have a little bit something different. So the first one will be like, I called it the Trad Fall. It's like your classic oranges, golds, green, red. Then I found one that's cool. I called it the cool coffee house vibe, like warm and cozy kind of. And then here in the Rockies, it's all about the Aspen Glow. So I found one that reminds me of what the aspens look like in their golden hues up in the mountains. So if that sounds good, stick around. All right, so supplies that I'm working with today. I've got obviously inks. I have got my Midori A5 dot grid notebook. It is cream paper, and I'm very curious. I'm going to be working with colors that I don't know very well. So I also cut up some Cosmo Air Snow paper that I had in loose leaf. So my plan is just to swatch in both palettes on both papers, and then we will be able to have a good comparison. Also, because I'm going to try, each color palette has, I think, 5 colors. So I'm going to make the swatches pretty small this time. Both papers here. How much you want to bet I screw up this spacing? I'm going to use this little acrylic stamping block to make my swatches. And if you watched my September video, here's my Lamy 2000. We're just going to write the names because it's got cool salted caramel. All right, let's get started with Trad Fall. Why is it that when I go to swatch, how does my inky rag always ends up like on the desk behind me? I really don't understand how that happens every time I go to make a video. First color up is Sailor Ink Studios 680. It is my favorite dark brown. I don't know how things like this happen. I think it's kind of cool, but also the perfectionist in me is like, the battles between the perfectionist brain, the right brain and left brain sometimes, they are pretty intense. Then our next color, I'm trying to think of the order I want to do. I don't have a lot of like the traditional fall colors, so I don't know the transition, but it should have ended with brown. Next color is a great olive green. Great, say the name. The next color is, imagine that I'm Simona and I'm going to say this with the perfect German accent. Bright and clear, alt gold grün. It is my all-time favorite olive green at this point. The palette calls the color kale. I don't know if it's kale or not. I don't eat kale, Why did I have to shout that? I also don't know. I'm not a huge fan of kale, so I don't eat it. Um, I like green things. I'm not a non-vegetable person, but there's something about kale. It's a texture thing, I think. Brambles today. I'm not going to spell out roar and clean cut because I'll mess it up. Okay, this is your shimmer swirl action for this video. Maybe I'm going to start just doing all of these. Well, at the end of the year, all the compilation of all the times that I swirled shimmer or the yellow leaves. We're going to go all the way to gold. And this is Fortune's Gold from Diamine 2024 ink vent. I can't remember. This one is pretty in a swatch in a pen. I honestly don't remember. I'm tempted to put this in a Kakuno and see. Maybe for my 30 inks, 30 days, I'm gonna load that up. I think salted caramel, which is what is in the Lamy here, is a cousin to this, but it has a deeper brown. I know if you're expecting ancient copper, it would go really well in this palette. It would also be expected. Hot take, I'm not a huge ancient copper fan. I like there are a few other colors I like better. Blasphemy in the fountain pen world, not to like ancient copper. I'm gonna do today for this one. I don't know if I like it better. I think I got this color at somebody was giving it away at the Pelican Hub last fall, so it was already past the fallness. Oh, that's more red than I thought. I'm doing this and now I'm like, maybe I'm gonna regret not having ancient copper in here. Very fall. All right, then some of you are lucky enough to get some reds, right, in your fall. We don't get a whole lot of reds. There's a few trees. Like the red that we're using for this one is Diamine Wax Seal from their 160th anniversary collection. All right, anybody see where my block went? That's the thing about clear blocks. They blend in. The red is Diamine Wax Seal. It's a great red. If you can handle writing with red, this is one for you. This is a red that makes me want to write in red. And then I load it up in a pen and then I regret it because I don't like looking at red ink. We've talked about that a lot before. We'll come back and look at each palette when they've dried down. All right, here comes palette number 2, the cool coffee house vibes. We're starting off with Suyu from Sailor Manyo 5th anniversary. I don't know why people don't talk about this one more. Everybody talks about its cousin from Pilot, Tsukio, but I like this one. I think it just has, I don't know why I like it better. Don't ask me to explain things. I don't know why I like it better. I just do. I think it's because it's so rich and dark. Silly me, I was going to try and offset these because I felt called out by the pen addict. I mean, not me particular individually, but like for only using one side of a notebook. Like that's really when you're ink swatching, really the only option. Oh, that would have been smart. Okay, pretend that one's not there. We're going to be smarter than the average bear so that I can maximize both sides of the notebook and the millions of loose leaf. So what I decided is that I'm going to actually tape this over this, and then I'll have both. I can use both sides too. Does it count if other paper are glued in? How much you want to bet I do the second one? Because I forget what I'm doing. If you bet yes. Parlay that puppy, because you're probably going to be right. The next color on the palette is an auburn. I went a little bit more burgundy in this one. I didn't have any great matches that I can remember in the auburn. I went for a more of a burgundy red, rider's blood. Those two colors look great together. I've never noticed that before. Hopefully this doesn't lead to having 30 pens ink because I like all these palettes so much. Maybe October will be a palette a week because these are my colors. The next color on the palette I might not have right. It's calling it clay. I'm going to go with Jacques Urbain Café d'Is, which is kind of a medium brown. So I might have needed a lighter one. Know that I have a lighter one. So Café d'Is it is. I think on the swatch card that I have, it is a lot lighter than it's showing up on either of these. Well, maybe with this cream coming down, we're getting closer. I know the Cosmo paper sometimes pulls different colors differently, so that could be part of it too. Next color is a sample from my good friend Charisse, who sends me all my browns. I don't buy browns except for one that you'll see in the next palette because she has all the browns. So if you ever need brown ink, hit up I Make Plans. The last color the palette had was a gray. We are going to be using the Wet Pen Cove Muscle, which is a nice blue gray. Maybe purple gray, maybe purple, which should be good because I think I was wanting some purple in here. As I'm looking at it, I think some purple would be nice. There we go. Yep. Blue gray, purple gray. Nice complement to this. The original palette had a truer gray, like a charcoal, but I just felt like this needed a little something, so I went with this one. I don't know, that one necessarily says fall to me. That one's almost more winter, but definitely got the cool coffee house vibes to it. Okay, we're going to pause. I'm going to pause. I'm going to swap out all these inks and get the next palette ready. All right, our last palette is called Aspen Glow. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably not what most of you don't think of as a fall color palette. This definitely doesn't have the oranges and the reds and the greens, but it is almost spot on for what fall looks like in the Rocky Mountains with all of our huge aspen groves. And it's just beautiful with the pine trees or the green, and then these bright pops of yellow. So that's what we are going to go with. I am tweaking the palette just a little bit. I am putting in a green because I think it better represents what I see. It better represents what I see as a Rocky Mountain fall. So that's what I should have called it, a Rocky Mountain fall. The first color that I picked was to represent the bright blue skies. This is Pelican ink of the year 2024, Golden Lapis. When I say it's packed with shimmer, it's so packed with shimmer, it has its own pipette. The other ones I've just been rinsing with water as we go through, but this one I know the shimmer is going to stick, and I don't want to contaminate my other bottles. So this represents the bright blue skies here in the Rockies, high altitude. I also picked it because it's got this gold shimmer, which is also reminiscent of the aspen tree. And if it didn't, it would be a basic bead. I hope if you have a Pelican Hub in your neck of the woods that you signed up for it. I had a blast at the Denver one last year. Got to know so many people, learned, fell in love with pelicans. That was dangerous. So we got the blue in the sky, and I think we'll do our green pine trees. So I'm going to go with Diamond Pine Needle and hope I don't regret it changing this palette up, but I don't think so. This is a warmer green than its cousin, Noble Fir. So I picked it because it reminded me of the sun hitting the pine trees. All right, and then we need something for our trunks. Now, this one is another one from the wet pen. It is the giant Pacific octopus. Aspen trunks are light white, so this can be like the scratchy, barky bits. As I mentioned in the last one, this is the only brown ink that I have ever bought for myself, and it really surprised me, but it's just a beautiful reddish brown ink, and I thought it was something that was missing in my collection. And then we've got the yellow and the gold of the leaves. So for the yellow, I am going with Tono and Lim's Flight of the Bumblebee. The golden yellow, I guess I should say. Another one I haven't put in a pen, so I don't really know how legible it is. You know, sometimes it's hard to find those legible yellows, but Grace did a great video on that the other day, so. And last but not least, we got some bright gold, orangey gold, orange yellow, yellow orange. And this is Pilot Suzuku Toro. Okay. We'll give the last one some drying time and we'll come back to our first palette was the traditional fall. I mean, this is, what can I say? This is fall. If you want a traditional fall palette, this is the one for you. You can see there's not a whole lot. Well, there's a few colors that are different, particularly Autumn Oak. I think the camera is going to pick up the differences as well. But on the cream Midori paper, the Autumn Oak is definitely a more yellow orange, and on the Cosmo Snow paper, a cooler orange, so warm from the cream and cool. In the Fortune's Gold, I think the Cosmo Snow is pulling a little green into that, so again, like picking up the cooler tones. And then definitely the wax seal, Diamond wax seal, cooler all the way around. So just something to think about when you're talking about different papers. All right, one of these days I'm going to learn not to glue shimmer paper. All right. And then we had our cool coffee house vibes for palette number 2. Again, the snow, the one that's most different is on the cream. The cappuccino is much darker than on the snow, but Cafe de Eels is flip. Like this one is warmer and more saturated than this one. Maybe I had water on my black. I don't know. I did them at the same time. Definitely more gray, blue. And a close-up of our Aspen Glow. And this one is one where you can also see the difference in that, how much, even though this is a warm green in the pine needle, how much cooler it is. It is pulling the blue tones. So look at that shimmer on that golden lapis. It's just crazy. Pilrow still drying on the second. And then, oh, this is another one. I'm going to be really interested when I edit this, but how much difference the two papers make on giant Pacific Optics. Like it's almost a totally different color in real life. All right. So there you have it. So my desk is a mess. I've got ink bottles everywhere, as you can see. Got my tape runner. Oh my goodness. Camera's about to die. It's all been fun today, hasn't it, Inky friends? So, what is fall looking like in your neck of the woods? Do any of these palettes match it? Which one would you put in? I'm really liking all of them, but the traditional fall. I think if I had any of them, I'd probably go with this one. And maybe this one in the winter. Oh, so many plans. Well, I hope you had a great time. I hope you have some great fall inks. If you need some, let me know. And because I can hook you up. I'm always happy to send samples. But until next time, keep ink on your fingers and keep being awesome. Bye for now.